Voters say Biden Democrats are out of touch and condescending in damning new poll. The bad news for President Joe Biden and the Democratic Party continue to roll in this week in the form of a new battleground district poll that found voters increasingly favoring the Republican Party ahead of the midterms. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out. Also, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I put out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree that's in the description. That has a link to my has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. Also has a link to my merch store that has Let's Go Brandon t-shirts, I Will Not Comply t-shirts, all types of t-shirts. So check that out. All right, let's talk about this news. So what are the details? The poll conducted by the National Republican Congressional Committee published Wednesday found that among voters in 77 battleground congressional districts across the country, Biden's approval rating sat at 15 points underwater. According to the survey, 40% of voters in these districts, which Biden won in 2020 by a net of 5.5 points, disapprove of the job the president is doing, while 55% disapprove. A narrow focus on the Biden's approval rating found that 45% of voters strongly approve of Biden's performance, while only 17% strongly approve. Making the matters worse for the president, only 30% of independent voters, a key voting bloc, approve of his performance, while a whopping 62% disapprove. The NRCC voted the latest result. The NRCC noted the latest results indicate a negative 34% swing in approval ratings among independents since Biden's inauguration last year. An overall negative perspective on Biden and the Democratic Party seemed to be driving the number, as 75% of swing voters in the districts reportedly agreed that Democrats are out of touch with everyday Americans, as well as condescending towards voters. I mean, that is huge right there. 75% of swing voters. So, like, it's crazy. 3/4 of American voters believe that Democrats are out of touch. So, and they're starting to see this woke ideology that the Democrats are pushing is not what they want for their families, and people are seeing that now. You got men taking over women's sports. You got CRT and all this other weird stuff and false stuff that they're teaching our children, and people are getting fed up and they're tired of the Democrats pushing this stuff. So that's why we're getting these numbers. What else? The poll also found that jobs and the economy led the list of concerns among the battleground voters, and this issue Republicans held a significant advantage. In a press release, the NRCC noted that Republicans led by 24 points, with voters most concerned about the cost of living, and by 20 points, with voters most concerned about jobs and the economy. The GOP reportedly held an advantage on a litany of other issues, including crime and immigration as well. Quote, battleground voters continue to hold Democrats responsible for the negative impact that record high inflation, soaring crime, and the crisis along our southern border are having on their lives, the group said, adding, these voters overwhelmingly support Republicans who are focused on addressing these issues. I mean, the Democrats aren't addressing it at all. They're not talking about it at all because you look at their record, they can't defend it. But the Republican Party led a generic ballot consisting of all the battleground districts by 4 points, the poll found. So why does all this matter? The NRCC survey produced results similar to several other surveys conducted in recent months. The overall trend is clear. Democrats are poised to surrender significant political ground when voters head to the polls in the midterm elections unless something drastically alters the state of play. For example, a Wall Street Journal survey published earlier this month depicted what has been labeled a 5-alarm fire for the Democratic Party. The survey found that 57% of voters disapprove of the job Biden is doing, and 63% believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. And I've been warning Democrats. I've been warning them and warning them about these crazy policies that they're coming up with. But they're crazy. These people are crazy. Well, moreover, the poll found that Republicans were making inroads with Hispanic and Black voters, two voting demographics that typically favor Democrats, and I talk about that a lot. At the time, Philip Klein, writing with the National Review, said, quote, if these numbers are anywhere close to the actual results, Democrats will be massacred in November. And that's what I've been saying. So I postulate that in the coming months, you'll be hearing all these leftist liberals start moving a little bit more and more to the right. They'll become a little bit more moderate to try to appease the electors. Is what I'm thinking is going to happen. I'm not saying that they're going to really change their minds or anything, but at least rhetoric wise, they're going to try to move a little bit more towards the center. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.